There is a moment in every life when something quietly asks for more. Not louder success, not safer choices, but a deeper alignment. The Alchemist is built entirely around that moment and around the risk of listening to it. Published in 1988 by Brazilian writer Paulo Coelho, The Alchemist emerged from a period in his life marked by spiritual searching, rejection by publishers, and a deep interest in symbolism, alchemy, and universal myths. At first, the book sold poorly. Then, almost inexplicably, it began to spread. Today, it is one of the most translated and widely read books in modern history, not because of complex arguments, but because it articulates something many people sense but struggle to name. The story follows Santiago, a young Andalusian shepherd who dreams repeatedly of a treasure hidden near the pyramids of Egypt. On the surface, this is a simple fable, but Coelho quickly makes it clear that the treasure is never just gold. It represents what the book calls a personal legend, the unique path each person feels drawn toward before fear, habit, and social expectations intervene. What makes The Alchemist psychologically compelling is that it frames fulfillment not as a reward for intelligence or hard work alone, but as the result of attentiveness. Santiago's journey is driven less by planning and more by interpretation. Omens, encounters, symbols, and chance meetings are treated not as coincidences but as signals. The world the book suggests responds to clarity of intention. This idea introduces tension immediately. If the universe truly supports those who pursue their personal legend, then failure is no longer random. It becomes the consequence of hesitation, distraction, or fear. Coelho forces the reader into an uncomfortable reflection. How many dreams are abandoned not because they are impossible, but because they become inconvenient? As Santiago travels from Spain to North Africa, he repeatedly loses what he has just gained. His money is stolen. His certainty collapses. Each setback tests whether desire alone is enough to continue. The book quietly argues that progress often feels like regression. Growth does not move in straight lines, and clarity is usually preceded by loss. One of the central philosophical ideas in The Alchemist is that fear of suffering is worse than suffering itself. Time and again, Santiago hesitates not because danger is present, but because imagined loss paralyzes him. Coelho presents courage not as fearlessness, but as obedience to meaning despite fear. The heart, the book insists, must be listened to, even when it contradicts logic. Alchemy itself functions as metaphor rather than science. Turning lead into gold mirrors the internal process of transforming experience into wisdom. The true alchemist is not one who manipulates matter, but one who refines attention, patience, and trust. Every encounter becomes material for transformation if it is interpreted correctly. Importantly, The Alchemist does not deny material success. The treasure is real, but it reframes wealth as secondary. Fulfillment comes from alignment between action and inner calling. When Santiago finally reaches the end of his journey, he discovers that the treasure was closer than expected, but unreachable without the journey itself. This is the book's final psychological turn. Meaning is not found by avoiding detours. It is created by passing through them. The journey does not lead away from the self, but back to it, changed. The Alchemist endures because it does not instruct. It reminds. It does not argue. It resonates. And in doing so, it asks a final question that lingers long after the last page. What dream did you once recognize as your own, and when did you decide it was safer not to follow it? If this reflection added value, support the channel by liking the video, subscribing for future deep dives, and continuing the journey with the next book.